shiny nose. And if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer.
You all know this guy by now, the incredible Jack Stone. Jack, as we get older, we think about our lives and about Christmas.
Well, we sure do, Hayward. I mean, you know, it's that time of the year, and, you know, it's time to be thankful for everything, Hayward.
Do you have a Christmas that stands out in your mind, maybe that just hits you right in the heart when you think about
Hayward, all of them, it stands out in my mind. You know, I believe I love them all.
it? Is it one of your most favorite times, would you think, of the year?
Yeah, I think my most favorite time is when all our families together, we can all get together, everybody's in good shape, we don't have much sickness and stuff like that, you know, and we're so thankful that we have that, Hayward.
Was there a year when you were a boy that you got a favorite toy, maybe a bicycle or a gun or
Well,
something?
years ago, when me and my brother were real small, my daddy bought both of us a bicycle together. And that was I can remember that because we were both wrestling for it all the time.
So y'all
we was gonna ride first.
Y'all would share it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Now, did y'all have a regular tree or would y'all go cut a tree out of the woods?
We had a tree out of the woods. I didn't know there was a regular tree, I mean, an artificial tree until later on in life.
Just a little pine or something like that?
That's right, we had a pine tree, just a long leaf pine tree.
What did y'all decorate it with?
Well, we had all kind of decorations we put on there.
Yeah. Did Mama like Christmas?
Oh yes, oh yes.
What would y'all have for Christmas dinner usually?
What would we have for Christmas lunch?
Yes.
We would have turkey and dressing, and we'd have cranberry sauce. We'd have just about everything we have now.
Well, Jack, thank you for talking to us.
Hey, listen, I'm glad you came by, Hayward.
Sounds like a wonderful memory.
It is, it is.
Yeah. Good to see you.
We wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
One-horse open sleigh, dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Talking to Bill Posey, and Bill's one of my favorites. I love to interview him, but Bill, today I'm here not talking about pharmaceuticals. Your favorite Christmas morning when you were a boy growing up, what do you remember?
Difficult question. You know, probably my favorite one was when I was maybe 8 or 9 years old, and Santa Claus actually brought me a little go-kart, but it was in it looked like a little T model, and that was probably my all-time favorite, because it was just one of those things you know, you didn't even ask Santa for something like that, and that was one of those things that Santa just surprised me with.
Did you ride that thing just about all day?
Oh my gosh, all day for weeks and weeks and weeks. You know, it was one of those things where you couldn't get enough of it.
Did y'all have Christmas lunch together or Christmas dinner together?
We always went to my grandmother's and granddaddy's.
What might y'all have on the table?
Well, you know, they were, they farmed, and they were just country folks, and what we usually had was, we'd always have some sort of fried ham, cornbread, usually some chicken and dumplings, and my granddaddy, my granddaddy in particular, always thought that he had to have some sausage and syrup. And he had that just about any meal. It didn't make any difference whether it was lunch, breakfast, supper, whatever. That was his favorite thing. But and biscuits. My mama always did biscuits. So.
Did y'all have a bought tree or did y'all cut one out of the woods?
When I was little, my mama actually got one of those old silver trees. You know that
The aluminum trees.
The old aluminum trees.
They were really
that
pretty.
had one of the wheels that set over to the side, and it turned and it changed the color of the tree to blue and green and yellow as it rotated.
They were beautiful.
And gosh, what we'd give to have one of those trees again now.
Man, wouldn't that be something? I'd like to have one of those right
I know
now.
it is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it really is.
Listen, thank you so much for sharing with us. You want to say anything to our folks at home?
I hope everyone has a great Christmas. You know, it's the time of year that everybody just needs to share, and particularly needs to share their love with not only their family, but you know, their neighbors also.
Thanks for being nostalgic with us.
Thank you. Glad to do it.
We are at Love Avenue Service Center and talked to another one of my favorite people, Richard Ballry. Richard, is there a Christmas that stands out in your mind that you might have got to enjoy, that you got a gift or something? Or
Yes, sir. Probably my third Christmas, 3 years old. Remember it well because I got a little pedal car, one of those little fire chief cars. You had a little bell on the front and everything, and you pedal to go around.
was it fun?
I just thought I was the hottest thing on the block with that thing.
Now, were you expecting that, or did you wake up that
No,
morning?
I hadn't even asked for it, to be honest with you.
And you got up that morning and
Well, we got up that morning and opened up Christmas, and it wasn't put under the tree, so you know I didn't know I had that. My mother said, "Come on to the kitchen, and help me get breakfast ready for everybody." So I went in there to help her, and there it was.
what did you say when you saw it? Can you remember the word?
No, I remember getting right in it, and they couldn't get me out for breakfast.
So you started riding right away.
Yes, sir.
Richard, what would y'all have for a Christmas lunch or dinner, whichever you call it?
Basically, like most all the folks down here do, it'd be ham or turkey, or ham and turkey. Your dressing, giblet gravy, turnip greens or collards, sweet potatoes, that kind of thing. And your pecan pies, sweet potato pies, pumpkin pies.
Y'all have a pretty good spread.
Oh
didn't you?
yes, yeah.
Plenty of bread too, because Dad
yeah.
ran the bread truck, didn't
Didn't have
he?
no problem with that.
Tell me this: did y'all cut your tree, or did you go out in the woods and get a tree, or did you buy a tree?
We always cut our tree, Hayward. Being from down here, we use the old pine tree. We didn't cut a fancy tree. We went out and cut a pine tree.
That's what we did. We maybe get a long leaf pine or something, and we'd
Decorate
stand
it.
there. Daddy sometimes would just put an X board on the bottom of it or something.
Something to make it stand. And
Mama,
us kids would sneak off and get a limb off the old wild lemon tree down there in the woods, and we'd make a gumdrop tree with it.
I've forgotten that.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, wasn't it? And what about, did y'all cut out any decorations? for
Yeah,
it?
remember we used to take the old poster paper stuff, the construction paper, and make the little chains and things like that, and make little cut out bells and ornaments. And my mother just keep us all busy doing that.
Yeah. How many?
I didn't know till I was a grown man that you wasn't supposed to take the icicles and just sling them on there.
How many kids in y'all?
There was 4 of us, Miss Taylor.
4.
And I was the littlest. So.
Were y'all all expected to hang around all Christmas Day? Or
Yes, you didn't leave during Christmas.
if you could go back one time, would you?
Oh yes.
Yeah. But now you've had a wonderful thing happen, and you're going to have a marvelous Christmas
Oh, yes.
this year, aren't you? You
Yes,
got
sir.
married,
Yes, sir.
and that's got to be thrilling for
It's
you.
going to make it a nice Christmas, and my son, had the twins, so there's a couple of extra additions to the family. So
You're a grandpa a bunch of times, aren't
there's
you?
about 9 go rounds.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, let me tell you, thank you for being a friend, and thank you for sharing your Christmas. This year we're being a little nostalgic.
Okay, well I appreciate you coming by, Hayward.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer.
One of my most favorite people in the whole world, and a good friend, Roosevelt Williams. You see him washing cars. Roosevelt, tell me your most favorite Christmas that you remember.
Well, it was one Christmas that I always talked to my dad and mom about giving me a bike by around 6 or 7 years old, and they didn't know at the time whether they were going to have the money to get it. But when I got up the next morning, it was there, and that was one of my favorite Christmas.
What did you say, Roosevelt, when you saw that?
I thought, thank God first, and then I thank my mom and dad.
And I bet your folks worked hard, and that was really a real surprise for you.
Yes, sir, it was.
Roosevelt, what did y'all normally have for Christmas dinner? Would y'all have chicken or
Chicken, ham, the whole works, chicken dressing, beans, greens,
just the big spread?
the big spread, the whole thing.
Now, would y'all buy a tree or would y'all go out in the woods and get a tree?
Back in the day, we used to go out and wouldn't get a tree.
Y'all would go out in the woods and get a tree?
Yes, sir.
That's what we would do. How would y'all decorate it, Roosevelt?
Well, we trim it first, the leaves that we don't need.
Yeah.
We go get some lights and put it in a bucket with some dirt in it to keep it up and decorate it pretty real good with the lights and the, you know.
Y'all
whatever.
loved it, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Were you expected to stay home all day on Christmas Day?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
everybody gather in?
Everybody gather in. Everybody come to my house.
Merry Christmas to you. You want to tell everybody Merry?
Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year.
John's, Tommy, your most favorite Christmas that you remember?
I remember walking out on my front porch one morning when I was 12 years old, and there was a new bicycle there, and my mom and daddy had told me they didn't have the money to buy me one. And I found out my neighbor up the road bought me one and put it on my front porch.
Were you thrilled, Tommy?
Was I thrilled? I started crying.
Tommy, what did y'all have for Christmas dinner normally? What would Mama fix for y'all? Do you remember?
Turkey and dressing, sweet potato casserole, broccoli casserole,
All the good stuff.
all that good stuff.
Now-
and black-eyed peas.
Now, would y'all go out in the woods and cut a tree, or would you buy a tree?
Used to.
Did you? Well, Merry Christmas to you. You want to wish everybody Merry Christmas?
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody in Tift County and Tifton, Georgia.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love sent to me a partridge in a pear tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. On the third day of Christmas, my true love sent to me.
Talking to my good friend Herbie Benson, Judge Herbie Benson, State Court Judge. Herbie, we're talking to people about their favorite Christmas. Do you have one you remember?
You know, Hayward, I've had so many over these years. It's been so long. It's hard to pick out just one. I think I would have to say a group of Christmases, and those are all the ones when my kids were small. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. They're both grown now, so it's an exchange of gifts. But I remember sitting out in the carport putting together a basketball goal one night, about 10,000 pieces on the thing at 3 o'clock in the morning with respect to that. So
Santa Claus was supposed to bring it. Is that what was
Santa Claus had to bring it, yeah. And, Santa Claus wasn't a very good mechanic, or else Santa Claus wouldn't have had law practice on the side.
When you were home as a kid, did y'all all have Christmas dinner or Christmas lunch?
Yeah.
What might y'all have for Christmas dinner or lunch? Do you
Oh,
remember?
we had traditional turkey and ham and dressing. I remember that my father, we had an impatient Santa Claus at our house too. We lived right beside my grandparents, and so we'd go up there and eat Christmas Eve, And then early on, we would get excited about getting up early, and then it got to where when we'd leave, get through eating Christmas Eve, and go down the house, we'd find out that Santa Claus had come early that night, for some reason.
Well, he
So
caught y'all away and made his delivery.
he called us away, made his deliveries on Christmas Eve as we got older, and so Mom and Daddy seemed to enjoy it as much as Santa Claus was watching us open up the gifts and play. So and of course then we kind of swallowed our food at Christmas Eve, hoping that Santa Claus would be early every year after that.
Y'all need to get back over there and check on these.
That's right.
What did y'all cut a tree, or did y'all buy a tree, or did Mama get a tree, or how'd y'all do that?
We bought a tree. We bought a tree from there, and you know, that was typically the way it was. There wasn't that many tree farms originally back then. You know, that's kind of a thing in the last few years from there. And I remember our first artificial tree. I mean, my father thought that was kind of sacrilegious to have an artificial Christmas tree, but you know, after he put it up, he found out it was a lot simpler going behind the tree and getting it stand up straight and picking up the needles and all that.
Y'all changed him pretty quick.
Yeah, he grew accustomed to that pretty well.
Did your Mama enjoy Christmas?
Oh yeah, she loved Christmas.
She liked the
Christmas was a big
shopping and
time.
everything.
She just liked the giving, you know, and from there, and so, and Daddy did too. He was sometimes an old curmudgeon, you know, about the thing, you know, but
You're not saying about him. He's a good man. You know.
he is a good man. He's a great man, and he would hide it well, and he would regret that I said he liked it, but he loved to see, you know, all of us happy and loved to be able to give. So.
How many brothers and sisters?
I had just one. I got a younger brother that's 6'4" and was redheaded. Now he's like me. He's gray-headed. Daddy,
Would he get anxious, and would you kind of calm him down so y'all could get through
well,
that?
he got taller than me pretty quick, so I didn't try to calm him down too well. Daddy said the postman had dark hair, and said the mailman, said the milkman was redheaded. So, but he said if you fed them long enough, they'd start to look like you. So that was his philosophy with us.
Oh, never a dull moment with you. That's what I love about you, my friend. Anything you want to say to folks out there
Just
about?
want to tell everybody, wish them a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and just excited about the things to come in 2018.
Have a good one.
Thanks, you too, Aaron. I
Stay well.
appreciate everything you do.
Stay well. Talking to our mayor and our city leader here in Tifton, Julie Smith. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Hayward.
You know, we're reminiscing, we're going a little nostalgic with people about favorite Christmases
Oh,
and
yeah.
such. Do you have anything that stands out in your mind?
You know, Christmas is such a special time, and there's a couple of things that make it very special for me. One is, years ago, my two best buddies in the whole world, Becky Mann and Cindy Williams, two crazy women, and I got together and created this weird event for Tifton that's called Hometown Holidays that grew into this big special thing for Tifton. And so that's always really special to me because we had so much fun putting that together and just being crazy and silly and just so every time we have Hometown Holidays, I think about those two and all the mischief we got into. So that's a really special event. But, just kind of sitting here thinking back through Christmases, and I've had a lot of them to think back through. I remember one year, my sister's 15 years younger than me, and she was little. She was probably maybe 3 or 4 years old, kind of old enough to communicate and talk and do her thing. But that year, my dad sat us down and said, it's just been kind of tough this year, and money's kind of tight, so Christmas is going to be a little slim. Well, about 3 days later, I walk in my sister's room, and she's got all this wrapping paper spread out on the floor and tape and bows, and she's just going to town wrapping up gifts, toys and things. I said, Lindsay, what are you doing? She said, you may not be getting something for Christmas, but I'm gonna wrap my own toys. I'm gonna open something on Christmas morning. So she had put her own toys. She rewrapped her toys, her own stuff to make sure she was gonna have something to open on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning. So we always tease her about that she was, she was gonna make sure she had something to open. We may not, but she was. But it ended up being a great Christmas anyway. But another favorite memory of mine is we used to go and spend Christmases with my grandparents, and we'd alternate between my grandparents in Nashville, Tennessee, my mom's parents, and then my grandparents in Knoxville, my dad's parents. And I just miss them so much. And now I'm going to get emotional. You're talking about people getting emotional. They were just such special people, and they loved me so much, and my brother and my sister. And I would give anything in the world to just be able to sit down with them one day, and have a meal together, or sit around my grandmother's kitchen table and drink her sweet tea and eat a piece of cornbread, and it just they were just such special people. And that's kind of what Christmas is to me. It's the love and the joy. It's not really the presents. I don't really remember things that people got me. I don't remember the physical gifts. I just remember the special times, and that's what I hold dear in my heart. And we have so much to be thankful for. I have 2 beautiful sons and a beautiful daughter-in-law and 3 wonderful stepdaughters, and they're really my daughters. I mean, it's not stepdaughters. It's our family. Doug and I have a blended family. And we have 2 grandchildren. Smith is 2 years old, almost 3, going on 20. And Ty, our newest, is just 6 weeks old. So being able to create memories for them. And one thing that was really important to me, I really wanted to win one of the Casa Playhouses for them at Hometown Holidays this year. And I had one picked out, and it worked out. I didn't win, but I ended up with that playhouse. So that's a special gift for me. A friend of mine won it, and I contacted her when I found out. I said, I really want that playhouse. And she said, well, let's work something out. You can have that playhouse. Well, that playhouse is in my backyard right now, and it's all covered with lights. And we brought Smith over the other day to come and see it. And he walked up and he said, oh, Grandmama, it's beautiful. And it was just so sweet. So it's not about the gifts. It's not about how big the Christmas tree is, or how bright the lights are, or how fancy the ornaments are, any of that. It's about being with your family and your friends and remembering what we have to be thankful for, and that's really each other. And so this year, I'm looking forward to creating some new memories with my grandchildren and my family, and I just wish everybody in Tifton a very, very happy and Merry Christmas.
Frosty the Snowman was a jolly, happy soul with a corncob heart and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal.
If you're from Tifton, you know this guy. He's famous everywhere. If you listen to the radio station in Valdosta, you hear him. We're wandering around, just kind of gathering up with people and talking about their favorite Christmas experience. You got one?
Well, Hayward, the biggest thing that I remember about Christmas, I come from a big family. Christmas Eve, we would all go to my grandmother's house, and my mother had 8 brothers and sisters, and that was about the only time of year that we all got together at one place. So that was always what I looked forward to, was seeing a lot of cousins and things like that I got to hang around with on Christmas Eve. And then Christmas morning, I've got a big family. I've got 3 brothers, 1 sister, and that's the other thing that I remember is just kind of, we'd all be in there together. And growing up, child of the 70s, I remember, my brother and I, who's 2 years younger than I am, both getting the Fonzie leather jackets for Christmas. I remember we grew up in the country over in Boston, Georgia, and I remember getting a bicycle, and it was a big surprise that the bicycle was there. We couldn't unwrap the presents yet, and it was just covered up with an old sheet. And my brother mentioned to Dad that, Daddy, I see the wheels are showing before. So, we had to he kind of knew before we knew what it was going to be. But, that's the thing that I remember the most is just kind of, being around family. And that's something that we like to do now as parents as well, and try to share with our kids. Maybe the best Christmas present I ever had, I started dating my wife, Stacy, in early December. And we were with our families on Christmas Day, but we wanted to see each other, so we went to Waffle House, the only thing open on Christmas Day. And we've gone to Waffle House on Christmas Day every year since. It's our own little tradition.
So that became your tradition?
That became our tradition, that's right.
When you were a kid eating at home, what might y'all have for your Christmas dinner or Christmas lunch?
Yeah, well, we always had the turkey and ham. My dad, and luckily he taught our kids how to work the grill, so we would always have that kind of thing. I can remember my mother, who was the pumpkin pie and the pecan pie and things like that. So just a general fare, but it was always we always had plenty. We always had each other, and so we never lacked for love on Christmas. That's for sure.
Did y'all buy a tree, or did y'all go out in the country and cut a tree?
We grew up in the country, so we always cut down a tree, and I can remember wanting to do that as a kid. I've got 2 older brothers, and so that was always their job, and I'd kind of tag along, waiting to one year this will be my chance, and we did get that chance later on. But yeah, we lived out in the woods, so it was just go out and see what you could find. And usually around Thanksgiving, we start kind of scouting it out and seeing what tree we're going to cut down for Christmas. So.
Well, I'll let you wish or say whatever you want to the people at home.
Well, from everybody with the Chamber of Commerce, we are blessed to live in a community full of family and friends and love. We certainly hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas and Happy New Year as well.
Thank you for telling your story.
Thank you, Hayward.
Oh, it's been said many times, many ways. Merry Christmas to you.
I consider this guy one of my great friends. I've known him forever. Tyrone Spearman. There's got to be a Christmas that you remember that just pops in your mind.
Merry Christmas, Hayward. I
Same
think
to you.
all of the Christmases that, as we grew up in the country, were special. But I think the one that Dad always calls us to come outside, and Santa Claus is coming, and you can see him in the sky, and he'll be here in just a little while. So we always go outside as kids, and we see lights coming and going across the sky, and I'm sure it's the airplanes, but we all thought it was Santa. And we always, every Christmas, he'd get us outside, and then we'd build a bonfire, and then maybe we'd always go by Grandmama's that afternoon. She would fill up a jar of tea cakes made from our homemade syrup and this type of thing. But at Christmas, there was always a lot of tea cakes that we could all test, and all the family came home. So I think the things I remember about Christmas was the gathering of the family and the great dinner we had, at Christmas after we all opened our presents Christmas morning. Now, we got to open up one Christmas Eve, but you could only open up one, and Daddy always bought a bushel of fruit, so that was always special as well. But in the country, you got to go outside and watch the Santa, he's coming. There's lights everywhere.
What would y'all have for your Christmas dinner or Christmas lunch?
Oh, it was always a ham, and we had turkey at Thanksgiving, but we had ham and all kind of goodies that was go along with it, of course, and our famous sweet potatoes that we grew on the farm. And we would always have a sweet potato souffle and sweet potato this and sweet potato that, but it was all good. And we remember it because as big as I am, there were some good cooks in our family.
Tyrone, did y'all cut a tree off the farm, or did y'all buy a tree?
Oh yeah, we always cut one on the farm. During the year, you always looked around the back fences and the back areas to see if you could find the tree, and you didn't want one too big because you got to get it in the house. And we always cut a real tree on the farm somewhere, or somebody else's farm where we'd borrow it.
How'd y'all decorate? Did y'all have lights and stuff, or did y'all make some things?
Oh, we had some lights, and Mama at one time had one of these aluminum foil deals that changed colors. We had an aluminum foil Christmas tree, and
Those
then
were
you had
spectacular.
and you it would turn and change colors while everybody was watching it. But it was that was a unique tree to have too.
Well, listen, thanks for sharing with us. Anything you want to say to the folks before I cut the camera off?
Well, we're just proud of Tifton and proud of the progress we've made this past year, and just remember the reason for the season. We are all truly blessed to live in Tifton, Georgia.
In thy dark street shineth the everlasting light. The hopes and fears of all the years are
My dear friend John Falatico, who I enjoy talking to as much as anybody I know. I called you a while ago and I said I'm talking to people about their favorite Christmas, and a lot of these folks go back to their childhood. Do you have one, John?
Actually, Hayward, I do. I didn't think about it until you called me a while ago, but when I was 16 years old, my dad was the manager of Central Jewelers. He didn't buy it until in the mid-60s. So we were kind of riding the fence with wealth. But that Christmas, when I was 16, my mother and dad brought me a Browning Sweet 16 Belgian made, which I could not even imagine my dad going that far for me. But he did, and it sticks in my mind at 67 years old.
Explain the Sweet 16 just a little bit. What's the difference?
16 gauge, there's a 12 gauge, 16, 20, 28 gauge, and 410. But the Browning made a Belgian-made Sweet 16 that came out in the very early 1960s, all made in Belgium. Quality shotgun.
Yes.
Quality shotgun.
Yes.
And for a 16-year-old guy like me to own one,
Yes.
it was a privilege. It was an honor. It
That's,
was.
well, I bet your eyes lit up that morning.
It did, and I still have it.
Oh.
I've got every gun I've ever purchased.
Well, did the family gather in at y'all's house, or did y'all go somewhere else?
We gathered at our house, and then we would go to Camilla, where my grandmother lived. And we had 2 Christmases. For a little kid, that was great.
Yeah. Now, would y'all cut a tree, or would y'all buy a tree?
No, I always buy a tree, but we always bought a natural tree.
A natural tree.
Yeah.
What might y'all have for Christmas dinner or lunch?
Always turkey and dressing. Twice. At our house and then again at grandmother's house.
Oh, great.
Yes,
Great
it
food.
was.
Great food.
It was.
Did y'all have your Christmas early in the morning, or did y'all?
Early in the morning. A lot earlier than my parents wanted to have Christmas.
What-
That's a fact.
Would Santa come, or
No,
did y'all?
Santa came.
Santa. Oh,
After us hollering 5 or 6 times, is it time yet? Is it time yet?
yeah.
My sister and I, BL.
What would it be like to get up on another one of those mornings at about 15 years old with everybody there?
I would love it. I mean, the camaraderie of my family, the closeness of my family, the birth of Christ on Christmas, the food, the joy, the atmosphere. It don't get any better. It's in your heart, man. It's in your heart.
John, thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
that with us.
Appreciate it, Hayden.
That's as good as it gets.
It is
Thank
it
you.
gets. Thank you, sir.
Up on the housetop, reindeer paws. Out jumps good old Santa Claus. Down through the chimney with lots of toys. All for the good little girls and boys.
As you can see, a lot of people have had really great Christmases and a lot of wonderful Christmas stories. And I had someone say, well, Hayward, we've told our story. Why don't you tell your Christmas story? You're a great one. Well, I got a couple, and I'll share them with you. When I was about 8 years old, on Christmas Eve night, my mother and father and my aunt that grew up with me, that lived with our family, went to the drive-in movie theater. And we came home, and when we got home, Santa had delivered the presents. They were all under the tree. And, oh, it was marvelous. My Aunt Sue that grew up with me, she was like 8. I think I was around 7 or 8, somewhere in that area. She was a year older than me. I looked by the tree, and there was a beautiful red girl's bicycle. It was just beautiful. And I'd wanted a bicycle too, but there wasn't a boy's bike there. So I got some other gifts, some cap guns and little cars to play with, and I said to my mom, I said, Mama, Santa didn't bring me a bicycle, and I wanted one. She said, well, maybe you misbehaved or something, and he just didn't think that you needed a bicycle. And I accepted it. I was cut down kind of bad. And she said, but would you do me a favor? Would you go in the utility room in the house and get a trash can so we could put some of this gift wrapping in it and get it out the living room? And I said, yes, ma'am. And I went there and I opened the door, and there was the most beautiful blue boy's bicycle I ever saw in my life. And I just said, wow, of course. And I ran in there and said, Mom. I said, he didn't forget. She said, well, maybe that's because you went to get me the trash can. You know how it goes. I'd be remiss, though, without saying this. My life, after I married my wife and I had my kids, my Christmases were all wonderful because my wife knew that at times my family when I was a kid was kind of dysfunctional. Sometimes we had good Christmases and sometimes not all that good. But I think Linda, because she loved me so much, wanted us to always have perfect Christmases. And we did. We had just wonderful, wonderful Christmases. There's no doubt about it. And even today, after we have our Christmas turkey and dressing and cranberry sauce and all the veggies and all the pies and everything, my sister-in-law, Calvin, that I love very much, and Mac, my brother-in-law that I love very much, they come and eat with us, and after that we all sit around and talk about stuff and reminisce. And that's what Christmas is about. It's not what you get, it's not what you put on the credit card. It's about being together, of course. I just want to say to all of you, I wish you a very Merry Christmas. I want to remind you that this is a time of year that we celebrate the birth of Christ. And this is a time of year that other religions celebrate. And that is a wonderful thing. And I want to remind you that I appreciate you watching our TV station, the Fun Channel, and I hope you enjoy it. And we've been doing this now, I think, about 32 years. But Merry Christmas to all of you. I pray for peace on earth, love of God, love of fellow man and people, and safety for all of us. And we'll see y'all after Christmas, and we'll see what's going to happen in 2018. Thanks for watching again. Merry Christmas.